Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Egg Wars. You know, I just checked before I started recording this. It has been exactly an entire month, exactly 1 month since the last time I did an Egg Wars. But if you don't know, I actually did a 70 or 80 minute Egg Wars. I guess it would have been probably 3 weeks ago now, but it was just a little bit too highly emotional for me to do. It's uploaded, but it's just never been made public. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I don't know. Basically, I was talking about some shit with my ex-girlfriend, basically talking about how, the whole situation where she'd been cheating on me and how I found out and how that all came about. So that's going to come out someday, but I don't know. I haven't put it out yet. So this is, here we are. But thank you for tuning in to this episode of Egg Wars. Welcome. I hope you're all doing well. And I want to address one thing, like I said I would, right off the bat for the people who are wondering. So yes, what was that? It's been almost 2 weeks ago now, that fateful drunken stream, the one that amassed something like 2,800 views, I think, where I drank over a liter of rum and became so intoxicated that I vomited all over and I blacked out, passed out. I tackled my computer desk to the floor, smashed everything on the floor, both my monitors, all my equipment. Somehow, miraculously, the only thing that really got broken was my mouse. Everything else is a little scuffed and scratched. People have been asking me, that archive, I personally took it down myself because it was, it was so, it was definitely going to get the channel terminated if it was publicly available. I'm sure it was being reported plenty as time went on. It was very, very completely insane. So somehow I managed to avoid any sort of, suspensions or anything from that particular stream, and I was able to get the full copy myself, the full 720p. I downloaded it off YouTube. It wasn't that I was recording it, I didn't have a hard disk recording going on while I was doing the stream, I did a YouTube rip to 720p, which is fine, because that's still it was 6-7 gigs, 7 hours long and some change. Although the whole last hour is literally everything's just on the floor, and it's just, you'll see the little chat in the corner and some loud music. That's about it. But people are asking me, they're telling me, Eggman, where is it? I want to see it. And I'm telling you, man, I watched a lot of it myself after that, because I blacked out not even halfway through. I didn't even make it halfway through, and I blacked out from my drinking, and so there was so much of it that I didn't even remember at all. I woke up covered in my own filth with everything crushed, everything just the total destruction of my living environment. And so there was parts of it that I laughed my ass off at, and there were parts of it that I was like, oh my goodness, this is horrible, oh my goodness, this is so bad. So my stance on it right now is I have it, and I will eventually put it somewhere, you know what I mean? I got it backed up, so, it was definitely something else, to be sure. And so that'll come out. That'll be out when I feel comfortable. Right now it's almost been a couple weeks. Even in these last couple weeks, it's kind of cooled off a little bit. So in good due time. Same way with this Egg Wars that I had uploaded that I never published, where I talk about some of these more personal issues. I've talked about a lot of very personal stuff on Egg Wars before. A lot of interpersonal relationships, my life, drugs. All these different there's been a lot of different things that I've talked about that were very, that took some time for me to get there, but so it's all a process, it's all a process, but in due time. But how we get down, we gotta crack that sip, and now today we got a new sip. Now I'm telling you, these next few days, next few Egg Wars, which I definitely should make more of those, obviously, because it's been weeks. If you don't know, if you're not following the Egg White live streams channel, if you're not following me on Twitch at Not Eggman on Twitch, I've been doing the streams lately. Obviously, I did have a week a couple weeks ago where I was pretty much laying in bed. It was pretty much the week following that drunken stream. I was heavily reevaluating what I was doing with my life. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm a gosh darn madman. I'm going crazy. What is this what I'm doing? Is this what I'm doing? And so it was kind of like this period I was in. But for the most part, obviously, over the last month, I would say, it's been mostly live streaming going on. So, and I've been back on my grizzly with that lately. So anyways, yeah, but I have some new sips, and I would like to, I'd like to get them on camera when I'm drinking them, so hopefully, that'll all be something to also spur me for that. Anyways, my boy Sean, it was probably about a couple weeks ago, he said, listen, I want you to try these new sips, and so I'm going to send you some money to get these new sips, and so he did send me the money, and I accidentally got the wrong kind. Now, he told me, he said, get Bang Energy sips. He said they're high, they got creatine in them, high caffeine, COQ10, BCAA. He's like, they're on a whole other level. But what I didn't realize is that there was like a special limited edition 4th of July, like Star Spray or Star Smunch, or I can't remember what the fuck it was, something Star. And that was the one he wanted me to get. But I got the money, and then, I didn't order everything right away because, I was getting the Bronze Age Mindset book, which I'm going to start doing I'm doing readings of that starting in the next couple of days here because it is just arriving now. And a new mouse because I smashed my mouse up from the drunk stream. So it was like, it was good. It was good because, when I'm ordering something on Amazon and it's a certain price that's going to be the prime, or, it's going to be like the free shipping and stuff, it's like, well, I want to make sure that I'm, let me make sure, because I think this is the first time I've ordered from Amazon this year, as a matter of fact. Last order I did, I think was when I got my phone, my new phone, last fall. So I haven't ordered, I don't do much ordering, so I'm like, when I'm going to order, I want like, okay, supplements, do I need any supplements? Do I need this? Things like that. Well, actually, no, shit. I can't be right. Yeah, maybe it must have been my second order because I think I did a supplement order in like February, March. That's irrelevant though. So, anyways, I bought the wrong kind, but this is some good shit right here. So let's go ahead and crack that bad boy here. Whoop! Ooh. Also, by the way, speaking of the drunk stream, the background might be a little fucked. I kind of basically, I don't know, I tackled my computer to the ground, I tackled the desk to the ground, I ripped the whole green screen off the wall, and it kind of fucked it up a little bit, so we might have a little more interference going on with, like, the green screen. I don't know, man, we're still, we're still kind of getting, I probably still have a couple bruises here or there. I cut my foot open that night, all different kinds. I smacked my head on the fucking concrete floor. It was bad, okay? Let's go ahead and sip here. Pina colada flavor, and let me describe it here to you. Definitely, I'm sorry, actually, I got a little bit of allergies going on right now, but I'm not snorting. I'm not snorting it like drugs, but I gotta clear it up a little bit here. Okay, the scent of it is definitely more on the pina of the colada side, I would say. But the coconut, it smells very authentic. But let me go ahead and take a little sip here. All right, I'm telling you, man. I once again, I don't endorse any energy drinks because they're all poison. They're all gonna turn your brain to gray goo. Don't drink it. It's cancerous chemicals, etc., etc. But I'm telling you though, with the flavor on this is definitely top notch. The pina of the colada, it's like boom, you have like that citric pineapple pop right off top, and it sort of fades into this smooth coconut aftertaste. So thank you again to Sean for supplying me with a case of these bad boys. Gonna keep me on high energy, no doubt, for some time. Very nice. Very nice. And now I have a particular couple of things that I do want to talk about today as usual. But one more small little thing, since this could basically substitute as like a month in review for me right now, since I haven't made a fucking EggWars in an entire month. Yeah, let's just cover a couple things here, So basically, just I guess, I don't know, that's just how I'm feeling right now. Just kind of expanding on a couple things that have happened, in over the last month. So like I was saying before, following my drunk stream, I was in bed. And I did not get out of bed for 6 days, which might be almost a new record for me. I think before, last year I did like 5 days one time. And then, I think my like downtime before that was almost exactly about a year ago. But that was when, I got kind of like partial doxed. And so I kind of took everything down. And then I spent an entire week. I wasn't laying in bed. But what I did was I played World of Warcraft for like 12 hours a day every single day for like a whole... it was bad. I put in a lot of gameplay hours in a very short amount of time. Basically, I was laying in bed and I just laid there, getting up after the drunk stream, vomits, I was naked, bloody, beaten, bruised. Everything was destroyed in my, I mean, obviously I didn't know at the time. All I seen was everything was turned off and on the floor, and it was bad. It was very bad. So I laid in bed and I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? I've had a good time. I've had a good life. Everything's been so good and gravy, and everything's been real nice. And you know what? Maybe it's just time for me to kind of just step away. I got a good thing going on right now. I've been able to do a lot of really cool things, and I don't like the path that I'm seeing in front of me right now of being like a depressed slob, drunk, out of control, maniac, motherfucker, you know what I mean? I'm like, well, maybe it wouldn't just be the worst idea in the world to kind of just lay back and just never get out of bed for the rest of my life. And so it went on for some days, and I don't know, I mean, it was a lot of sleeping going on. I was listening to some audiobooks. I got the free trial came back up for my YouTube Red, so I like, the thing about YouTube Red is that now they fucking changed it to YouTube Premium, which is like it costs even more money. I'm like, dude, nobody wanted it in the first place. Nobody wants YouTube Red in the first place. Although I will say now that they upped the price, now it's saying I could get a whole other also 3-month trial of YouTube Premium. So that's all right. I mean, I guess, but I like to have YouTube Red because it's like I can put something on my phone and then turn my phone, like lay it down somewhere, and it's gonna I can put up audiobooks off YouTube. I can put up like orchestral music, whatever I like, something that I want to have in the background and I'm not by my computer maybe, or, if I have my computer in this part of the basement and I sleep over at that part of the basement, I could play music on the computer, but I can't get to it right. If I want to change that, I can just pick up my phone, boom, do like that and keep it by bed. So I was listening to some audiobooks and things of that nature. Just kind of doing some, chill stuff like that, and just laying there and just being like, I'm thinking to myself, do I want to go? I was toying with this idea before, not that long ago, of being like a train car hopper and a bum and a drifter and all this different shit. And I was like, well, gosh, I don't even know if that's for me. I'm just so out of my mind. You know what I mean? I'm so crazy. I'm just so disconnected mentally. You know what? Let's just lay here. Let's just lay here until I can't lay here no more. And well, basically that did eventually come, but that's just because I was neglecting, responsibilities in my day-to-day life beyond, just this internet stuff, but beyond this sort of thing. I mean, it was one thing, I didn't stream for a while. People were like, I was like, gosh, well, how am I going to go back and stream anyway? Well, I was waiting still to get banned because I was like, I can't believe I won't get banned, but didn't, for all the things I've gotten banned for in the past, it was pretty, to do that and not get banned. But, I was like, kid, how am I going to look these people in the eyes again? They saw me in such a shameful way, vomiting all over and just all these sickening, horrible things, tackling my computer to the ground as a drunken madness. How can I face them with this sickness? But I just don't know if I don't know if I'll make it living out on the elements in a woods. So I'm just going to lay here. And then eventually I was like, well, shit, I haven't done laundry in a week. I haven't showered in a week. I haven't gone grocery shopping in a week. I haven't done my chores, my household duties in a week. All these different things that I was, it was like, all right, well, people kind of talked me back into streaming then. And I kind of, I started off did a few hours, a couple days. Then I went out, did a little traveling to see my parents for Father's Day. And, it was very nice. I got extremely sunburned because I didn't bring enough sunscreen. And I was out at a beach. And when I say beach, I'm not talking on the coast, because some people were thinking I was out on the coast on the ocean. No, I'm talking just literally water and sand. Nothing too big or extravagant or whatever. You know what I mean? But it was very nice. It was very nice, and I talked to my dad at the time, and he basically, we were kind of had some back and forth, and I was like, oh man, this other night I went so crazy, I went so wild, I was so out of control. He's like, well, hey, you know what? That's what you do. It's that's that's what you do. You have your streams and you have your videos and stuff like that, and you have a lot of people that, he's like, you shouldn't take that for granted. Don't take that for granted to just, kind of lay in bed and be like, whatever, it's that sort of mindset, be all, being all down about everything and being like, fuck it, whatever, he's like, all these, these people, you know what I mean? They not, there's a lot of people out there that would do everything in the world to be, to have these people who really like to, interact with you and kind of talk to you and chat and chill and hang out online and all this different stuff. And so I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. I felt like I kind of had like a little bit of a selfish mindset about it. Like my mind wasn't framed really in the right. It wasn't thinking the right kind of way. And I've been guilty of that in my life sometimes, of where I'm thinking of self. You know what I mean? And I guess, I don't know, part of it, I like to make excuses for my bad behavior all the time. And I shouldn't, but I'm just saying, for the record, I was never a very socially adept person. I never really had a lot of people around in my life where I had to be like, oh, think about that guy, think about this guy, or whatever, because usually if I was in a social situation, I was usually on the butt end of jokes, and so on and so forth, or, kind of teased and that, so I was kind of, in my mindset, I was kind of like, at some point in time, I kind of came to be like, screw this crap, I'm putting my fists up, and I'm only thinking about me. You dig what I'm saying? And, but he kind of helped me, when I was talking about this, it sort of did reframe a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I've never been super great about responsibilities, so, I should definitely keep doing my thing and not be neglectful, and, be mindful. And so that was that. And I came back, and I've been streaming, for these last few days, and I've been really cherishing all of that. Obviously, no shit. I've gone through enough channels and websites to, you know what I mean? It's not like I got banned one day and then I was like, whatever. Yeah, that was okay. It's something that I've really enjoyed, the social, aspect of it. And, I'm gonna use this as a segue into another thing that I want to talk about. When I talk about that sort of, how internet socialization, right? I did that the EggWars where I talked about e-dating and that shit, but somebody sent me this green text screen cap yesterday, and it was one that I had not remembered reading before, and he called it the Oxytocin Red Pill in post. It was a 4chan post. It looked like it was from 8chan, I do believe, from like 2 years ago. And, I've read a lot of things, I've looked at a lot of things, but I couldn't remember reading this particular post. And of course, oxytocin is not something that I've studied with any great deal of, high levels and complexities or anything. So I'm kind of taking this with a grain of salt that it's just from a thread here. But, it really goes and it says, it was kind of talking about the war on oxytocin, the war on oxytocin, how so many natural things, there's this natural order of life that sort of complements this. I think, is oxytocin what they call the love hormone, or something like that, the love molecule? I could be totally wrong here, but this is just, from one kind of reading of a green text that kind of just spurred my brain. And when my brain gets spurred, I kind of just like to say how I feel, you know what I mean? So, so I'm thinking about it, they're talking about, oxytocin. It's, being the thing that, that I had probably heard about it before was, it kind of ties into when women have multiple partners, it negatively affects their ability to pair bond. So, like, if a chick has, multiple partners over life, the success rate of that marriage, it plummets. It plummets almost instantaneously, right from more than a single, additional partner in life. Like, the zero partners, what is it, like, the data that I recall was like somewhere in the 80% and maybe more than 80% range of successful marriages where, even a single additional partner could bring that to like a 50% or at least drop it like significantly, like 20% points, something of that sort. And then it also was saying, something that I hadn't really thought of before, something that had never strongly occurred to me, that oxytocin also can have a negative effect, when there's an antagonizing effect on the oxytocin in the body or, in the brain. The child born to this woman with this sort of negative effect on the oxytocin, the woman will not have that same pair bonding with that child, not the same sort of love for her child that a mother with a more healthy oxytocin distribution in her brain, in her body, would otherwise have. And I started to think about it, I'm sort of surmising. I'm like, well, you kind of think about a lot of these situations out here where you have women who are kind of, breeding for benefits. They're breeding for welfare state benefits. And this goes, all across the racial spectrum. I can tell you that for a fact because I've known, trailer park inhabitants of well, except maybe probably not. I don't know about Asians in my personal experience anyway, but Hispanic, black, and white. I've known numerous welfare breeding females, and you do seem to notice that women of a healthy, stable, low body count mothers, they kind of, you can tell they have a different interaction with their children. I mean, this is all anecdotal, so that's for the record, but you can kind of tell, like, that kid, I don't remember who his dad is, but hey, you know what? I'm claiming that kid for my money, for my benefits, and for my food stamps, and da-da-da-da. And of course, obviously, a woman who's doing that is obviously, it's not like she had one partner, boom, kid, two partners, boom, like she's probably been getting passed around for a minute, or she might have had a history of sexual dysfunction or a history of neglect in the household that would have had an oxytocin deficiency become present at a young age. And so I'm reading about this, and I am seeing, another hot topic that's been going on lately with this news cycle as of recently is Drumpf is at it again. Can't believe I haven't drank any of this in like the last 10 minutes. Drumpf is at it again. He has been quadrillion, bazillion, paraplegic, Down syndrome afflicted Mexican babies. He's throwing them into wood chippers by the truckloads. He's actually literally putting their bodies into empty cement mixers and vaporizing their bodies into some kind of cement-like substance and using that to build the wall. He's mixing their Down syndrome baby cement goo with Holocaust survivor ashes in a big vat, and he's going out there, he's laying the bricks with his devil horns. I saw it on CNN. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. Anyway, so basically that's the biggest thing in the news lately, and it's very interesting to me, just sort of the, how it really came out of left field for me. Obviously, immigration has been a huge part of the process. It's been this huge thing that's been out here for, since I've been red-pilled, for one, to some degree, but obviously his campaign and everything, immigration has always been in the mix, undoubtedly. And it all started, it was this guy, like some fake, or I shouldn't say, it was like a combination of fake and old. It was some picture from like 2014 that was supposedly taken from like not even real. It was just like this protest of a kid in a cage. And all of a sudden it goes crazy, it blows up, it goes viral, it goes insane. And I'm telling you, I mean insane now. It takes, I guess, it's all an acclamation of sorts, I suppose. But nowadays, while I'm looking at the TV feed and there's RuPaul's Drag Race for Kids, that's coming out, Drag Tots on Netflix, the 9-year-old, they're bringing them to these drag queen conventions, they're doing all this, Viacom, one of the biggest media conglomerates in the world, they're putting up on Times Square. They're having, drag queen boys and all this makeup and in sexual fetish clothing for House of Man, the sexual gay fetish, sex shop, and modeling literal 9-year-old children. And there are all these different things and making homosexual education mandatory for elementary school students in California, so on and so forth. There's so much out there where you see that and you're already, it takes something. It takes something to kind of make a person in this current hellscape, this current clown world, this current psychotic asylum in which we inhabit. It takes a little bit of something extra to make a man sort of, what? Kind of slap you in the face a little bit. And so, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's literally just like that. It's like, boom. I mean, it couldn't have been more than, I can't imagine that it's been more than a week since I saw that picture for the first time. And nowadays, now we have Time, the new Time cover of Time magazine cover, this Drumpf literally going like, giving the evil eye to a dying, crying baby from, this is America. Trump is murdering 1 gazillion innocent babies every day. It's horrible. Now here's the thing, okay? Now, somebody actually presented to me an actually digestible leftist viewpoint here. They basically told me, they said, here's how they actually look at it. They look at it like this. They look at it like the Mexicans, they're being slaughtered by the drug cartels, all these different things. And they're fleeing this violence, and they're trying to get in by any means necessary. They're basically, their backs against the wall. They're being slaughtered in Mexico by these drug cartels. They have to get in. They need help, and they're basically like they're like refugees from war, right? Okay, now, all things considered, you present that to me, let's say like 3 years ago. Okay, you know what? Maybe my ear would have been a little bit open to that. This is before the whole big, but that's not how it is in America these days. I'm sorry, all propaganda aside, even if you're going with that angle, and I'm not saying it's a bad angle to go with, because sure, of course the drug cartels are extremely violent. Nobody can travel to Mexico unless you're on like the fucking very specific resort. Otherwise, you're going to get gutted in the street and have your beheaded and kidnapped and held for ransom and all these horrible things. But when you go online, you know what I mean? And I'm saying this here because, the social media, it brings a spotlight, to the reality of the situation when we're talking these illegal individuals that are coming into the country, because you go online and you'll have, all these disgusting, caterpillar eyebrow, obese, illegal Mexican, college-aged women, high school-aged women, such and such, that are all sneaking in. And what do they have to say? They're sitting there with their 800 pounds of makeup and their 800 pounds of, sugar from their real sugar Coke, all their lard rolls pouring down to their knees while they're taking all the healthcare money, and they're, no human being is illegal, papi. Hey, no human being is illegal. Yo, Whitey, I'm undocumented. No human being is illegal. I got 87.0 GPA and I got to all colleges and I never been in America. Yeah, I want to cross because this is our land anyway. White man, he stole all the land anyway. And he says no human being is illegal. Fucking Whitey, I fucking hate Whitey. I go to school without full scholarship and I never been in this country. I got undocumented. I got 400,000 GPA, and y'all motherfucking, y'all racist whitey. That's what you see. That's what you hear. You go around these people. I'm not talking about the guys that can't even speak English and they're going and picking grapes for $1 a day or whatever the fuck they talk about. Oh, that's the job you won't do. I'm talking about the reality of the situation when you have what's that guy Vargas, whatever the hell his name is, that guy who works for MTV or whatever, who's it's like it's. Like, oh, I'm illegal and proud. That's right. That's not refugee, okay? You're not running, you're not stuffing yourself in a fucking wheel well and getting, driven across the border and whatever, doing all this shit and going in the Underground Railroad, doing backflips and somersaults, hiding in hollowed out cactuses, whatever the fuck you're doing to get in and hide and get in and steal people's identities and live as them and get all the free shit that you want. That's not. You're trying to act like it's, oh my gosh, they had a gun to their head and they kicked the machete away from cartel man and then all of a sudden they did backflips across the border and now they're safe and they're gonna flee and they're no, it doesn't. Well, how are you gonna say that that's how it is when it's slammed in your face every single day that you have? They go to protest. They go to the fucking states. Government offices, they're giving them these sanctuary cities where somehow laws no longer apply. They're fucking doxing government border patrol people, ICE agents, they're fucking doxing them, they're fucking death threats, all these horrible, graphic, awful things. I mean, totally horrible, awful things that will make you sick to even, see the behavior of these people. And we're supposed to lay down the red carpet. Oh, they're so oppressed. It's the cartel. I'm like, shit, hey, you know what? Some of these fucking people are so annoying. You know what? Hey, I would love, hey, cartel. Hey, cartel. Hey, get the fucker out of here, Like, dude, I think they might be taking it a little bit for granted, but it's interesting, though. It all kind of comes back into this oxytocin red pill image. Because you have, I see, when I look at people who are so, like, overtly, I mean, I'm talking, like, going into complete hysterics over this situation where they're like, oh, the babies, they're being separated from their parents, which, by the way, a lot of that shit's not even true. These people, they're human traffickers and drug dealers. I mean, your average individual is not going to get up one morning and say, gosh, you know what, I'm going to go and illegally immigrate. Say, no, why do you think it's multiple repeat murderer? These people have multiple murders that they've done. They're still coming back, going out and coming back. Drug charges, they're going out and coming back. Human traffickers, they're going out and coming back. It's, you know what I mean? It's like, obviously when they see this whole shit going down where they can just kidnap, I mean, shit, they're already doing human trafficking anyway. All right, let's take, I'm a human trafficking cartel member. Let me take this chick right here, and I'm going to take this kid right here that we're human trafficking, and oh, this is my family. Oh, how could you separate us? Let me lay down and cry, and while the ICE, here, CNN, come over here, get the photo up. Snap, that's going into my fuck laws and borders compilation, So that's already that anyway. But the people who are going so hysterical about this whole situation that I've seen, once again, anecdotal, but who do I see? It's women, and it's, extreme men with such low testosterone levels, they might as well be women, and they're typically hard leftists anyway, so they probably wish they were women. They probably cross-dress in women's clothing and, in their daily private lives and everything. But okay, let's see here. You have these women who they have been subjected to all these oxytocin antagonists where, they are told from a young age, with all the feminism, don't ever be a mother, don't ever be a wife, that's oppressive. You know what, women were enslaved by male oppression forever, so don't ever, go around and live it up, go around and fuck a bunch of guys. Your oxytocin is dropping to fucking rock bottom. You're never going to be happy again. You're miserable, and you hate yourself, and you hate life, and you hate everything. But you're given this social avenue. You have this avenue that society is laying out for you. Okay, well, you can't have any kids. Take your birth control and shut up, and go to the slut walk and shut the fuck up. You're a proud slut, and that's what all there is to it. So shut up, ho. That's all you get. There's that. But here's this social avenue here where, you have, these Mexican babies, they can't get enough pictures. They can't get enough, everybody wants the pictures of crying Mexican babies. They're probably going to they're probably just walking around neighborhoods and being like, hey, can we take your kid and have him cry over here? They need more of that. They need to fuel this hysterics. So there's that. And so here you have this avenue then where women, all their motherly these women, they're never going to breed. The birth rate, they're coming out and actually putting in the news for once in a while. I mean, I know they had said it a month or two ago that the birth rate was like the lowest in decades, and now the birth rate is under the death rate. The death rate's like going like this. It's crossed over, by the statistics. So I just saw that featured in one of these highlights the other day. Maybe it was today, yesterday, whatever it was. So you have this, and so, okay, finally, you've been told, you've been told to fucking ruin your whole life, fuck your whole life up, go into some career that means nothing, never be a mother, never be a wife, only be a slut, and you're fucked up, your brain is fucked up, your brain chemistry is so fucked up, your motherly urges, you'll never be able to have them, because you probably sterilized yourself by drinking too much fucking birth control, or you're putting those sticks in your arms and your pussy, whatever, it's sterilized you, you're so fucked up in the brain, almost guaranteed, middle-aged and up white women, highest amount of antidepressive medication users in the entire country, extremely disproportionate. They're so fucked up in the head, they have no outlets, nothing. Their life is just basically, all right, you're 35 years old, you're used up, no man wants you, you're a whore, you're gonna work at this. You're going to work at the Washington Post writing feminism poetry for the next 40 years until you die miserably alone while your cats eat your decaying corpse in your fucking commie block. But here you go. You have these poor crying kids. Go out. Go defend those children. You'll never have children. You'll never, if you having children, that's evil. And you're so fucked up in the head, you can never even love your own children. You can never love yourself. You've become this debased creature. So go. Now you are broken, a mentally broken slave of the establishment. Go, and if anybody, that is your child now. This crying, human trafficked child, that's your child now. You're going to defend that child with everything you have. So then they go, and they're fucking, they're just going crazy. They're doxing, all these government people. They're going crazy. They're so mentally worked up. I mean, they have nothing left. I mean, they will never admit it because that's counterintuitive to the agenda. But they're so mentally broken that so they're ready to go to the death to defend these kids that have nothing to do with them. These kids that are going to come in and just be a detriment to society and everything as a whole. And also on top of it, they showed some of these kids coming in today, and they're all 16, 17 years old. It's highly reminiscent to me of the European migrant situation where every single photo op was a crying woman and a crying kid. And what's going to happen? 85%, 90% of the people that are coming across are all, 16, 17-year-old men, are they coming here for work and da-da-da? Okay, maybe. Are they coming here? Are they fucking, cartel affiliated? Who knows? Nobody fucking knows. You have people, there's no way to know who these people are. They're just fucking illegal aliens coming across the border full of drugs and criminals, and you don't even know what the hell you're bringing in. You know what I mean? So, but it's crazy. It's absolutely ridiculous. But you can definitely draw the parallels there, I think, anyway. It just makes sense. It just makes sense that these, redirecting these motherly influences, these motherly instincts that they have nowhere else to put. And even if you went and you tried to fix up, goes back to the old school G saying you can't turn a hoe to a housewife. You can't. You actually can't. Like their brain will just fucking adapt to like, it's basically like it's like, what do you call it? It's like a sticker. You can only stick a sticker down so many times. All of a sudden it just flies away because there's no stick left. When a woman gets to that age, she can't stick to you. She can't stick to her kids. I've seen it happen actually in my real life. Now, I'm not going to say how I know this woman, but there's a woman who I would say, she must be like upper 40s, maybe mid 40s. She had a husband and at least one kid. I think she might have had 2 kids, but she was with her husband and kids she was probably married for at least several years. You know what I mean? I would say it must have been, I would say several years. It's been a while since I've brought this back up in my memory, so, but I do believe it was about several years. In any case, the woman was married, and she had this family, she had everything going on, but this is what she did, she didn't get married until she was in her late 20s. All through her 20s, she was getting pumped and dumped. The sticker was not sticking anymore, so she gets married to this dude, has a kid. She doesn't care about her family. She doesn't care about him. So she ends up going and she's like, you know what, this is, oh my God, this is the rest of my life. This is the rest of my life. I deserve much better. And she left her family. And last I heard, well, she's dated, I think, a few different guys now. But she had been basically like going and looking for like 70-year-old men with a lot of money, 80-year-old men with a lot of money. I will say this for sure, for her age, from what I recall, she was rather attractive. So, I could see that she could probably, do that. But she was going men with money, men if they had something to offer her materially, such and so on and so forth. Something, if anything was, anything new, trips, now, because back in the day, this is the social media and Tinder and all that stuff. You know what I mean? She's probably using some kind of like actual like old man dating site. Like, I don't think you got people in the geriatric facilities of Tinder. But, whatever the case was, she was finding ways to connect to these older, well-off men. And basically, they were treating her to all these lavish things, in exchange for her, to be there that she hadn't been. So it was still able to give her that spark that she, had worn out from all the random casual activities that she had done, in her past. So, it's not good. I kind of, to be honest, like reading this image, this green text, once again, taking it with a grain of salt. Actually, it wasn't really like a green text. It was like typed out full multi-post thing. But it was kind of like a little bit of a black pill type of thing going on there as well, because it's just like, oh shit. It's, they had, going back to like how I started kind of getting this, the online socialization thing. They were saying that oxytocin, when you are, this was just a little bit of like a surmising going on, but the oxytocin, if you're like me, for instance, I sit in my basement all the time. I do go outside, but, I never had any physical contact with a person until I was with my ex-girlfriend for that amount of time. And which is why I feel like, I say this, I've said this before, when I was with her, I never had anything like that in my life. I never, ever, ever in my life was I close to a human being. Never did I have. It would be if I ever was in a position before where I was even like near a human being like that. I was so, like, oh, I don't want, so like I would not want to. I would get anxious. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. I'm going over here. I'm being by myself. So it was like this being and having to be near another person and be so like this, you know what I mean? So like right there with a person, having to confront and having to discuss and having such close social. I never had anything like that in my life until then or ever since. And so I do feel like at that time, it really did something. It really opened up a part of me that I didn't even know existed. And this text, it sort of kind of was related to my thought process in that way, because it was like, your body, it needs the human touch. It needs the real human social realness, like the touch of the skin. I mean, I remember I read an article not that long ago where you had women who were charging men just to like, they would charge them and just, for like, kind of like going back to the old school kissing booth, except it wasn't the old school kissing booth. It would be like prolonged, superficial contact booth where like these men would pay these women and then you sit there and hug them, because like when you hug a person like that, if you hug somebody of the opposite sex, or you like whatever, there's skin to skin contact in some way, this actually boosts this level in your body that actually is like key to a good health and a good functional system, you know, a functional ability to feel and ability to, you know, not sort of get closed off, you know, in an antisocial kind of way, not to get atomized, not to get isolated and separated. It's like you need it. And it kind of also goes into, you know, children who are left at doorsteps, or, you know, are orphaned children. They have like a lifetime deficiency. Children who are kept in the care of a daycare, or whatever the case might be, where they're away from the parents, or if they're in a situation in the household where the parents are distant, you know, it's extremely damaging, long-term, lifetime deficiency for these children of their ability to produce this oxytocin that's so necessary for so many things. And I was like, fuck, that ain't good. Because the surmising was, you know, when you're doing a lot of online socialization, your brain is going to basically produce a bond. Your brain is basically going to pair bond with your technological device. So that's sort of like, you know, is that, you know, people, cell phone addiction is like a real thing. It's an actual, like, you know, there are people who don't have their cell phone for a certain amount of time, they might go into real panic attacks. They might, if they don't have it, because it's like they basically, you know, when they set their cell phone down and they sit there, and your brain can almost interpret that as like, you know, being in prison, like you're going into the whole solitary confinement. Nobody's around you because have come to this point where your brain associates all social everything with your device or your computer, whatever it might be. And so, I mean, I think I would not doubt that I'm in that position. You know, I didn't have a smartphone until 4 years ago. I think now with like between Twitter, and I think it probably explains why, you know, when I'm doing live streaming and stuff like that, you know, it is my socialization. So it's like, you know, I guess in a way my brain has sort of tied live streaming into like, you know, this, like I become pair bonded to communicating with people in that way. It's interesting. It's very interesting, you know, but it's not good. It doesn't make me feel too good about the future, because, you know, basically the way that this text went was that, yeah, everything's pretty much like totally completely fucked, because, you know, and that's the thing too. If you have guys who are, you know, I haven't seen any sort of relativity drawn here. We're talking about like incel stuff even too. If a man goes for 30 years of his life and is completely isolated and never has any positive contact with a human being, what's he going to get told? He's going to get told, well, fuck you, loser. Women don't owe you anything, you fucking loser. Da-da-da-da. That's what he's going to get told. But he's going to be like, actually, this deprivation, you know, you could even, this could explain, you know, why are guys paying $10,000 a month for women to send them feet pics or talk to them on the internet, because like they might just be so deprived, and like just like their brain is like basically so starved for this positive social interaction that just doesn't exist in their lives anywhere else. Like you can't get it anywhere else. You can't get the socialization. And I guess that would make sense for me. Like I could, you know, going back a few years when I was first posting on 4chan as Eggman and things like that. I mean, shit. So I would go on and I'd be like, all right, well, you know, people knew generally where I was even living at that time. I mean, obviously I eventually got doxxed a couple times and that sort of thing. But even at that time, before all that, I was like, you know, if you're in this general area, I don't care. Just please, you know, add me on Skype. Please add me on Kick, whatever. I will come over. I'll bring snacks. I'll bring video games or whatever. Like I'm just so deprived of anything in my life. I don't care, you know. So it can drive, you know, it can drive desperation. And I think that is something to keep in mind, I guess, in some of these situations. You know, if we see people that are doing things that just seem so outrageous, they seem so crazy. Like, what the hell are you doing, dude? You're out of your mind. I mean, if a man is, if it's not, there's no way for you to have this positive social interaction anywhere else. I mean, I guess it makes sense that you do some crazy stuff. But, well, I think that's probably all I'll be talking about today. There's probably some more I could go into that, but I feel like 45 minutes is probably long enough, because it'll probably just be kind of rambling and talking in circles some more like I might have already done. But in any case, something to think about. I could, you know, my science on this shit might be wonky because I didn't really look super much into all of it, but it's just some stuff that popped up that got me thinking, you know, with current events and kind of meshing it together and kind of, you know, drawing some parallels and some anecdotal things. But In any case, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Egg Wars. And I guess I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching, and peace out, everybody.